Hi, it's Magic Uni. So this is going to be the first pre-recorded video I've done, and still Taylor is playing in the background. So I got inspired to speak about this is privacy and your privacy being invaded and feeling like people are watching you. I should disclaim that I am a complete sound body and mind. I'm not losing my mind. I know what day it is most of the time when I look at a calendar. LOL. You know, I'm aware of I'm aware. I'm not going off the deep end, as some would say, but I think most people get a sense of when they're being watched or monitored in some way. There's a little churning in the pit of my stomach as I say that. So I think when you're in that position where you feel like somebody's watching you, it's kind of weird, right? But in the same sense that it's weird, it's allowing me to be my most authentic self, because it's showing me that no matter what the fuck goes on around my world, my inner peace and my relationship with self is the most important thing, is the relationship with my God. And if you saw my live the other day, you would know that, I refer to God, I'm spiritual. I refer to God as the energy of all, the interconnectedness of us all. No disrespect to religion, but I just don't adhere to religion. I'm spiritual. I feel like my privacy is being invaded on many different levels, and it's quite interesting that when I've reached out for help in certain areas and I've been helped, but I don't even know like why I'm saying all this. I don't know. I've been, if you watched my live, you know that I'm newly divorced, spending time on my own. I'm in some situations that are completely out of my control. I need to turn Taylor down because I need to be able to concentrate on what I'm saying. And if I listen to her, I can't concentrate. So being newly divorced, let me just speak about like why I do this. I'm newly divorced. I'm living in this space by myself. It's the most self I have ever felt, right? Okay, so there's that. So I'm really discovering myself, and that's why I started speaking out loud and processing. And it's an incredible, helpful, to me, healthy. People looking on the outside in might not look so healthy too. But it's an incredible, healthy processing tool where I'm getting to know myself. So with that being said, my privacy's been being invaded. As to what depths and levels, I'm not willing to go into at this point, but I do know that it's been happening, right? So I've reached out to some people. I've got some guidance. I've got some help. But really, I don't feel like there's much protection, and that is incredibly scary. So there's that part, right? And when I go into these sessions of uncovering things, I'll wind through it quite a lot. So sometimes I'll say something for 2 seconds and move on to the next. It works for me, I think. So that's why I'm sharing this. I hopefully can help somebody, and I'm holding this so I can remember to talk about that thing that I'm gonna forget what the fuck it was. So I'm doing this maybe to help somebody else, because my God, if I'm going through the shit that I'm going through, certainly somebody else out there is going through this shit by themselves. And I recently became addicted to TikTok over the last few months. It is an addiction. I'm just gonna leave that right there. But seeing people do similar things, I don't even know where I was going with that. So let me just forget whatever the fuck that was, because apparently I wasn't supposed to go that way. I feel like I'm being guided sometimes when I do these talks as well. And like I said, it's not really for anybody. Like, it's not for posting content on, well, I'm posting it on purpose, but it's not for the likes, it's not for whatever. It's just to share my experience and my strength and hope, and maybe, I know why TikTok came up. So, I've become addicted, and one of my comments got like 135-ish thousand, which is unbelievable, 1,000 likes. And it was incredibly cool that it wasn't about the popularity of the like, but oh my God, so many people can actually identify with how I feel. So I'm not alone, right? I think often, I know I feel like I can be alone in certain situations, and this is all coming back to the privacy thing, right? So I feel alone in certain situations and don't feel like people can understand. How could they possibly understand what I'm going through? Like, oh my God, like it feels sometimes that overwhelming, and other times it's like, I'm wearing my fucking crown. Life is good no matter what. So it's the peaks and valleys of life. So my privacy's been being invaded, and I've reached out to some people for some help. And like I said, I have gotten some really good advice and some guidance, but I don't feel like it's almost like it's not believable. Like the things that come out of my mouth, the things that have unfolded in my recent life, it's weird. It's just fucking weird, okay? And I'm like, I'm okay with it. Like, I have a higher power. I have a God. I have a support team, spiritual and otherwise. So it's like, I'm doing okay. But, when you start talking to people about these things, about how people are watching you, they look at you like you're a little fucking crazy. And this is no disrespect to anybody that I know that I've spoken to about this, or to any, my inner circle, right? Or anyone on the outs of my circle. It's no disrespect to anybody and what you've said to me or what your viewpoints are. This is just my perspective, and this is how I process. And so anyways, so I feel like the things that I say, people look at me, it's like, well, is she all right? I am definitely all right. But at the same time, when you see patterns and things and people, and it's just, and even see, when I just said that, I'm like, people are gonna think I'm fucking nuts. But you have to understand that I feel like I live in two worlds, and people who are spiritual will completely understand this, and the other people who don't, maybe this isn't you, and peace out at this point, or at any point before or any point after, right? That's not why I'm doing this. It's not. I'm actually being called to do this, and I don't know why. I'm just doing it because if I'm going to sit here in my house by myself and process shit out loud and get that many likes on things are just so interconnected, right? And get that many likes on TikTok, and well, if I feel this way, maybe I'm not alone. Maybe I can put this shit out here and help somebody else, because the things that I've seen on social media, as of late, obviously TikTok, because like I said, I'm addicted. It's getting better though. But just that interconnectedness that I have, excuse me, I have to take some water in. The interconnectedness that I have searched for my entire life. And I know we started this whole thing out about privacy being invaded, but for now, we'll get to this. So I how do you say this? People who are spiritual will understand this, and it's no disrespect to anybody who doesn't identify like that or doesn't. It's just, this is my truth. So for me, living in two worlds is like, you live here on the 3D and you live here like in the spiritual realm, and sometimes you see things ahead of its time, so things aren't quite congruent, but eventually they do kind of meet in a sense. For me, this is my experience completely. So the things that I have been understanding, the pattern recognition, that is, I can't even get into it right now. It's like a completely different session. You talk to people about that, and I feel like people think I'm nuts. Even like the professional people who see this like on a fucking daily basis. And we'll get back to that, because I don't feel like there's enough protection. And I don't even know what protection is out there, but I don't feel educated enough on this. Narcissist, I couldn't even define it sitting here, but if I look it up and read what it says, I think I would, yeah, let's do that, right? Why the fuck not? Definition of a narcissist. A person who has an excessive interest in or admiration of themselves. Yeah, but what does that mean? Like, what is, I mean, you hear it all the time, especially on TikTok as of late. What are the traits of a narcissist? Lacks empathy. I don't know. It's like a whole bunch of like shit I don't know, but I've just been dealing with some shit from people. I don't even know where I was going with the narcissist part, but there's been some people that have been from my point of view, not living their best life. I mean, but at the same time, living their best life because they've helped me become the most incredible person, right? So that's the thing. There's this 3D world where we're like, myself included, just an asshole like on this planet, like going around doing life, right? And then there's this like amazingly beautiful spiritual like thing, asshole spiritual thing. I don't know why I put it like that. And oftentimes I'm living here. It's just weird. So when I'm speaking, I don't know how this is all tying together. I'm just fucking rolling with it and hoping it makes some kind of fucking sense to somebody other than myself. Maybe it won't even make sense to me. So when I speak to these people, I feel like I'm not being believed, maybe because it feels so incredibly absurd. The things I'm saying that I have witnessed been being done to me, because I understand the higher level thinking, and that's not to be arrogant, it's just my truth. Like I said, divorce and self-discovery is like through the fucking roof. There's a level of understanding that most people don't see. So when I speak these things, like, I mean, to example, private investigator who sees this all the time, and it's like, I know I sound crazy, but this is really what I'm seeing that's happening, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if their job is to be like agreeing, you know? I mean, he sounded sincere, right? So, I take people at face value. That's the thing. You tell me the sky is fucking green, I'll believe you, because why would you lie? Why? I don't operate that way. I don't know if I ever have. I do know growing up, hopefully I can get back to the privacy issue, so I don't have anybody to remind me, but growing up it was always like backdoor communication, like I can't say that I would be jabbed. Well, yeah, you know, I don't even know what to describe it. It's like, oh God, I'm speaking about my family. That can't be good. I've gone through a lot of therapy. I do love them. You know, we're all human beings on this earth just trying to navigate it. So I don't hold any ill will or remorse or any judgment or any whatever. Like, I've processed all that shit. I'm good. But you know, growing up, it was kind of, I felt, after going to therapy, I realized that it was like backdoor commenting and kind of like saying things without saying them. And so when you're telling people this, I don't even know where I was going, other than that's what's been happening to me. And I don't know if that's narcissistic behavior. I don't know what the definition of that is. I just know it's been really incredibly weird to witness. I've never, to the level that I've been seeing it, I have never in my life witnessed it like this before, from the multiple amounts of people that I witnessed it from, because it's just weird. And all I want to do is just be me and have a good life, and I don't even have to talk to you. I'm good. You know, I promise you, we're good. But still, people, like, you act like that, and I don't know what they're thinking. I just stay to myself. But you, obviously, it's around you. It's not some things directed towards and most things indirectly, right? So what is that behavior? I don't know. Therapist, psychologist, whatever that is, that's what that is. It's just wildly fascinating. Like, why don't people just let other people be? They gotta like stir this shit, right? Are they trying to get a reaction? I don't know, but I honestly don't give a fuck, which is so cool, because if you would have talked to me a couple months ago, I would have, like, you know, not so much felt like that. So cheers to me and thank you to them. Because I know this all ties into somewhere in the beginning. Because we're all mirrors for each other, right? That's the spiritual side of it. We're all here to, I hope, love each other. We're all like, love is love, man. To love each other and support each other, care for each other, see each other grow, help each other grow. And essentially that's what these people are doing. They're helping me to grow into the most incredible human being I could ever be. Like my highest of high. I am the fucking highest of high. Yeah, I truly am. I'm the most healed version of myself I have ever been. And as much shit as I've been going through as of late, I'm the best version of me. And holy shit, what an incredibly amazing feeling. And it's not to be, thinking like, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, she's so high on herself, she thinks so whatever of herself. And it's like, no, do you know how hard I worked to get to where I am? The fucking shit I had to like plow through and process and learn, like, just to be. It's wow. It was not an easy journey, but it's been an incredible one. And that's why I'm saying I'm so grateful for these people. I truly do love each and every one of them, even though they're little assholes sometimes and like do human behavior, right? Like, that's the thing. Believe me, I was not always a nice person, and I'm still not always a nice person. I can be an asshole, I can be a bitch, and yeah, I'll fucking say I can be a cunt, because I know people find it incredibly offensive, but I don't. Like, cunt, like, what's the big deal? See, we give meaning to things that, like, who says that cunt is a bad word? Like who? Like, and who decided that, yeah, that's a bad word, like the most offensive word we could say about a woman, right? Who said that? And then who believed it and believed it and believed it, and it just became this thing. You know, it's just weird how things happen. Like, yeah, like who decided that counter would be a good name for this? I mean, I don't know the roots and whatever of words, and maybe somehow that's a thing. I mean, I get, you know, I get the word cunt, right? I get that, cunnilingus, I think. I don't know if I'm following it correctly, but that's where my mind goes with it. How can that be a bad thing? My God, it feels incredible. Have you had it done? Hello? So yeah, we got really way off topic, and that's usually how this shit goes. I just fucking roll with it. It's been an incredibly powerful healing tool. Yeah, and so now all I can think about is cunnilingus, and then I went to masturbation, which I actually wrote down because I was like, what if I run out of things to talk about? What do I talk about? Because sometimes when I don't do this on camera, I have long pauses where it's like I take a moment to process what's been said. Most of the time it comes through as like a complete shit show of a spew of a channel. But masturbation, I was talking to my best friend, Nikki, right? And I'm like, yeah. Anyways, I was saying that most people do it, right? And so we were having this conversation. I'm like, I don't want to divulge too much personal information about other people, other than we were having this conversation, and I was like, well, most people like do it, right? And I mean, I don't know, it's such a taboo, topic, right? I mean, it used to be, growing up for me, it was, but why isn't this like more of a thing? And that leads to self-love. For me, it's all about like self-love, self-connection, because I'm about self-everything at this point. And it's gonna tie into masturbation, right? So I was married for 12-ish years, and It's no secret. I think I said it in the live video I did. I cheated on her, and that caused obviously an issue in the marriage. Worked through it, and things. Anyways, the marriage ended. I don't think I shared that completely personally. Holy shit, this is really personal. Just rolling with it. So, you know, the love was there, everything was there. It's not the person. It's I decided to move on from the marriage, but I cheated on my partner, and so I was married for 12-ish years. So, you know, there was a lack of physical connection. Probably, mostly, I'll take complete responsibility for it, that I ruined the marriage and that trust. I ruined that, even though we decided we were going to work together and fix it. I think once that trust is broken, I don't know. I don't know if the shoe is on the other foot. How could I get over that? So I don't blame, I don't feel guilty, no shame, no guilt. I've worked through all of that. But I broke it, and I couldn't fix it, and I tried my hardest. I really did. But I chose myself, and so I parted, and so that's all about the self-discovery. And I think I said that about 6 different ways, so obviously I had to process that deeply. So thank you for allowing me to do that and holding space. Yeah, so after having a very not so intimate marriage, and I'm just taking my part, my responsibility, and I'm not placing blame. I just want to make that very clear. You know, I hadn't been sexual. I hadn't felt sexual for a long time. And I don't know if a lot of that was still residual guilt and shame from the affair I had and holding on to that for so long. I'm not sure. I think I did hold on to a tiny bit of guilt towards the tail end, because things were shifting. Things had been shifting in my marriage for, I think, a very long time, a very, very long time. That could be another video. Things were shifting. I lost my train of thought, which often happens as I do this, because I start to feel, maybe I just need to go with the feeling. I hope I can get back to where I was. It's going to be coming out of the marriage. But the whole feelings thing, I have to hold this up so I remember, coming out of the marriage, okay. Feeling feelings is so amazing. There was a point in my life where I didn't know how to feel feelings. I didn't feel them in my body. And now I can feel them in my body. When I feel like I need to cry, I can cry. I can sit with that. I can feel where anger goes in my body. Where do I feel other people's emotions? That's another video. So I react to their body even when they're not near me sometimes. So anyways, so feeling feelings is incredible. And so when I feel them in my body, that's why I think I get pulled off of topic a lot, because I feel them so deeply. So it's like a very intense pull. So marriage, coming out of my marriage, we hadn't had sex hardly at all. And it saddens me to say that. Yeah. Anyways, there was a lot wrong for me. Looking back and processing, there was a lot wrong for a long time, and it makes me sad because I think we both deserve better. I mean, I know I deserve better, and I chose myself. And I think she deserves the world. She truly does. I hope she finds her happiness. So moving in here, let's shift and move on. Okay, thank you. Moving in here, I'm exploring myself, and this is all going to tie back into the privacy, because what's been being done is like allowing me to stand firm on who the fuck I am. Like I finally am the most me I've ever been, and that ties back into what I was originally saying. The things I have never felt so divinely guided and divinely protected in my life, and I've never felt so violated and attacked in my life. So it's very conflicting, and I'm like just bouncing around in the middle, right? And it's amazing to me the lack of compassion that people truly have. Like, it just blows my mind. But it's their journey, and I respect it. So that's where I'm pulled in half the time, and I'm very emotional about this. Very. It breaks my heart because I love people so deeply, regardless of what is done to me. I see them, I see their soul. But then I see they can be an asshole. So it's like, I'm learning that I have to put up boundaries, and I'm learning the most incredible self-love. And that's masturbation. It does tie in. Thank God. So self-love. When we're children, we're taught like masturbating is like bad, and you shouldn't touch. I think that's the connotation I was taught with. Like, you shouldn't touch yourself, and it's like this forbidden thing. But I was sexualized as a child, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. I started masturbating young. I don't know if that's normal. I don't know what normal is. But I just remember it wasn't like it wasn't encouraged. And I don't know if it should be. Like, I don't know what the limitation. Like, that's a weird area, right? That's a really weird area. I don't have children. I don't know what would be appropriate. My point to all this, I'm not saying one way is good, one way is not good. That's just me processing. But like, what self-love, like, why aren't we teaching our children? I don't know what people are teaching their kids, but my experience, it's like, it was always about the princess and the whatever, knight in shining armor is gonna come save her, and this is gonna happen. Everything was external. It was never like internal. And that's where it all is, man. Like, that's where it truly is. And it blows my fucking mind that that's not what I see. It's not what I see. Because, I'm not saying I'm like self-righteous in this, like, whatever that knows it all. I don't know shit about shit most of the time. But I don't know, it's just, I lost my thread. Like self-love, masturbation, not being taught. I don't know what's being taught. I don't know what people teach their kids. But my experience from people as of late is just, people are mean, and I don't understand why, but at the same time I do. I've had childhood trauma. I've had incredibly significant wounds to heal, and I've healed them. So I know what it looks like to be unhealed and hurting, and I get it. And that's why I still love them. And that's why it breaks my heart. That's why I think I got so emotional. I truly do love people. And I've noticed, like, if I look at people with such admiration, believe me, sometimes I'm flirting. So it's like, is it admiration? Am I just feeling joy? Am I flirting? It's like, I don't know, but sometimes I feel like people, I don't know. misinterpret, but it's not for me to figure out what they interpret, right? And that went somewhere I don't know where that fuck that went. Masturbation and being a child, self-love. So anyway, I moved in here and I'm exploring my body. I am having the fucking time of my life, getting myself off. Yeah, so it's like all tied into like the taboo and like, do we talk about this? I don't know, but I'm fucking gonna, like, cause why not? I don't give a shit. I don't have anything to hide. Like, I'm not embarrassed. Like, I mean, I think we all do it, and if we all don't do it, we all should be doing it. And that's my fucking point, because exploration of self, this whole fucking journey has been the most incredible. It's been the most incredible of my life. And it wouldn't have happened if everything before it hadn't have happened. So that's why I'm so incredibly fucking grateful for every fucking person, whether you're the most kind, loving soul or you're the most fuck you asshole kind of a soul. Like, I still love you and I'm still very grateful for you. And it's like, see, it all ties back into we're all like mirrors for each other. My hope, obviously, for the new world is that we're all kind, loving, compassionate beings and we can all elevate each other. But I think that's what we're doing. I mean, that's what this whole experience of being completely invaded with my privacy. I'm like in a fucking fishbowl, dude, okay? And it's weird. I don't understand it. But I know what it's doing for me, and I really don't give a fuck. It's like, I don't think I'm that interesting to watch. But then I thought, well, maybe I am. So that's why it all ties back into, I mean, my God, if I can help somebody through my experiences, and show you, yes, I've gone through completely heart-wrenching shit. I'm going through this incredibly difficult time with being this is vulnerable. I know people, I don't know how they're watching me, but I know they're watching me. I know they can see me. I know they can hear me. They've seen me naked. It's like, I don't give I really don't care. The things that you see and hear, I mean, I have some incredibly private moments in my home. Incredibly private. I mean, obviously, I'm getting myself off. Have they seen it? I don't know. If you did, enjoy. I don't know why I'm saying this right now. This is weird and incredibly personal. But this is what I'm experiencing. And like I said in the beginning, I am of sound mind and body. I do know where I'm at. I'm cognizantly aware. I'm intuitive and educated. And I love this song. Marjorie Taylor is like so amazing. It's just weird. I've never experienced this kind of energy before in my life, and I am so divinely guided and divinely protected. There's a purpose for it, and I'm willing to go through it. I am going through it, and I know that me and God, it's always me and God. We're getting through it. My brother's with me all the time. I have family. I have the most incredible spiritual team. And I wouldn't have been so open to share that. Like, I wouldn't have known to the depths of, had I not experienced, I'm experiencing some chills right now. So I just want to share what's going on in my body. My body's getting cold, right? And I feel like ethereal, like almost outside of self. And like something's not wanting me to say this, but I feel the most divinely guided and protected that I have been. And had I not gone through this, I don't think I would have realized to the degree that I am. So, yeah. And it all ties back into, not being believed, like telling people these things and feeling I'm not being believed. But through all of this, even just a very short amount of time, I have grown so much. And it's like, I don't give a fuck if anyone believes me, because I know what I'm experiencing. in the, I'll say 3D world for, for those of us. I don't know if the normal people, and I say normal because some people aren't spiritual in the way that I am. So I don't know how to differentiate. Maybe people who can't identify, I don't know. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. But in the 3D world and in the 5D, I don't know where I was going with that, but it's to know things on different levels is very hard. To love people and not like their behavior is very, incredibly difficult. It's a struggle. It really, truly is. Because I see them. I see you, all of you, and I love you. And with that, I will say goodnight.